Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tim Hart, branch manager of Van Dyke Mortgage right here in Fort Myers, Florida. Here today on the Heartbeat Show podcast with a longtime friend, fellow Mariner High School Triton alumni. I'm class of 94. Ray, you're class of 95, right?
9 to 5-ish.
Give or take 6 months.
I didn't graduate on time.
I love it. Dude, I got my friend here, Ray Higdon. Ray, thanks for being with us today, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it, dude. You've been quick backstory for people that are watching this. Ray and I went to high school together. I've been able to stay in touch off and on over the years through social and different events and friends and whatever. And I've watched Ray. He's going to tell the story. Ray, what we're going to talk about, is the millionaire mindset. And I really want to get into your story and what kind of you went through, especially because we know a lot of the same people, and I want to make sure they know it. But also I want people out there that are watching this or listening to, gain inspiration from you and what you went through. Because shout out to you. I've went through the recession, the depression, just like you did. And, I was kind of connected with you throughout that. And I saw the struggles with you, man. And I saw like the breakthroughs happen for you. And to see you where you're at now is unbelievable, man. Very proud of you. I don't know if that means anything to
Thanks,
you,
man.
but
Dude, I'm honored. Thank you.
yeah, dude, you really have. It's pretty amazing to watch, and especially once you get into the numbers and the sales and stuff you and your wife are doing now. It's awesome. So kudos to you, sir. So you know what you're doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. It's been cool watching you. I like your marketing journey, watching what you're doing here.
Oh, thanks.
Still gonna have me on the fishing show, but
you're gonna be on. Don't worry. I got to get back on the track with the fishing show. I've kind of water quality kind of dampened that a little
bit. Oh yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Ray, let's not get off track already, man.
Okay. All right. I get fired up.
Let's bring it back in. So let's get Ray. Why don't you just take it over from here and let's fill everyone in on your story. Your journey over the last 10 years or so, right? Or even 12, 15 years. So Ray Higdon, take it away.
So I'm someone that I had worked my way up in the corporate world to. I think a pretty good salary. I was making like $80,000 a year, and which is pretty good, being that I didn't finish high school on time. I never finished college, and so I was doing what I thought I should be doing, and what everyone told me I should be doing, which is working hard at a job and working my way up the corporate ladder. And there were a few things that I noticed, and that was that the harder I would work, the more they that particular company would pay me, but also the more they would demand of me. And so there were times where I'm last minute canceling family vacations, times when I had to, miss school functions for the boys. And I was spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing. And that's not where I wanted to be. In the meantime, speaking of high school, I saw this was 2004. And I saw a lot of my knucklehead friends from high school killing it in real estate. I'm like, hey, they're like killing it. And, like all kinds of cars and just making all kinds of money. And I'm like, wow, man.
And they're going to express black cars on their foreheads.
Yeah. Just wearing them. Right. And so I thought, man, if they can do it, maybe I can too. And so I started reading real estate books, read my first one, April 2004, which was actually by someone who would later mentor me, which was Russ Whitney. That book, his book, Building Wealth, was the first book I ever read on being an entrepreneur. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, then Think and Grow Rich, and all the kind of standard ones. And 1 year later, I left that job as me and another guy had partnered up with real estate. Our main strategy was to buy East Fort Myers cash flowing properties, duplexes, triplexes, single family in the total ghetto, dangerous scenarios, had guns pulled on me and all kinds of stuff. And, but it just made sense. And so, in the meantime, I also did get my mortgage license back then, and also was trying to flip some homes, and some I did successfully, some I did not, but started doing pretty good. And so I did leave the corporate world in 2005, April 2005, and things were rocking and rolling. When and to be honest, I got kind of full of myself. And so That's usually not a good mix. And so about, I don't know, toward the end of 2007, there started being signs that something was awry. And so some of our deals weren't going through, some of our rentals weren't getting rented like that day, like they used to be. And come 2008, it really got bad, where things that we were renting for 800, now you couldn't even rent for 550, which totally ruins the numbers. And so we're now paying money every month, and we have vacancies, and all the deals that I had been moving and flipping, no one was getting financing. And so it was really lean, and all the money that had been going out was continuing to go out, but none was coming in. And so it was a dark day. My partner ended up saying, dude, I can't do this. He went back to a job and started working that. And I was too proud to do that. So I hunkered down and spent every last dime I had, not real smart. Man. And so I'm totally wiped out, literally no money at all. In between that, I guess two interesting things happened. One, I did go through a divorce. At one point, I was sleeping on Sean Haig's couch. I don't know if you know this.
Shout out Sean Haig. I did not know that.
Shout out to Sean Haig. And so at one point, I'm sleeping on his couch, and it was tough. You know, I saw probably around 2008, I saw that things weren't going to be like they were. And so I actually took a job as a speaker. And so I was on the road 22 days a month, Vegas, Chicago, Phoenix, Miami, LA, selling a $7,000 system and a 90-minute pitch to a cold audience. And it was all performance-based. So you either sold or you made no money. And so it was intense. I learned a lot. It was great, actually. But
what were you selling?
I didn't agree with where the company was going and how they were taking care of their customers. So I just couldn't sell it anymore. And so I basically, after I left that, it was really downhill from there. So started dating again, started dating my wife. I say current, that's a terrible phrase, but started dating my wife, Jessica. Back then she was my girlfriend. That's what I meant there.
Right.
But she's working at the makeup counter, paying my utility bills, and I'm trying to figure things out. I had a buddy who had done really well with internet marketing who did teach me a lot of stuff, and I'm very grateful for him, Robert, my buddy Josh. But I just wasn't, there's just something wasn't linking there. Something wasn't clicking. I don't think I was ready, maybe. I'm not sure, because they were actually very successful internet marketers, and I just couldn't make it work. I don't know. And so one day, someone that I didn't know on Facebook invited me to a seminar. And I'm like, what the heck, you know, I'm broke. My credit is shot. I'm being chased by bill collectors. I'm $1 million in debt. This sucks. Why not? So I go to the seminar, and I figured maybe I'll learn how to make money and get whatever I lost back. And that's not what I got. What I got was that I had repair relationship with my dad on a to-do list with no priority. And, you know, I hadn't talked to my dad in 13 years. He had never met his grandsons, which at the time were like 11 and 9, I think, something like that. And I just didn't feel great about it. You know, I could explain why. I mean, I did have a lot of abuse, you know, in my childhood, but I just didn't feel good about it. And so I reached out to him on day 2 of that seminar, and fast forward a few months, ended up going up to Indiana to see him. And I came back with a totally different mindset. And, you know, my buddy, Chris Peraldi, I assume you know Chris.
Yep.
Chris invited me to a home meeting, July 15, 2009. And when he said home meeting, I'm like, oh man, it's network marketing, which I had sworn off. Like, I did not want to do that again. I had tried it. I had, you know, just a terrible time with different uplines and rigmarole. And I just didn't like it. But I'm looking at my options. I'm out of money. I have no credit. Most of my credit cards have stopped allowing me to take money from them because I'm not paying them. I mean, I remember one really loser night when I'm at Ultra. I don't know if you remember Ultra. Did you ever go to Ultra? But Ultra was a club in Fort Myers. And I remember, because I was such a hot shot and I thought so highly of myself, that I was in the VIP lounge and, you know, went to pay for a bottle, and they're like, this won't go through. I'm like, winning. So I was a big fat loser, and I absolutely felt like it the whole time.
It worked earlier.
What's that?
You hit him with that excuse. It worked earlier today.
Yeah.
Try it
and,
again.
and so it was, it was just a stupid time for me, and just not good. And so anyway, so Chris invites me to this meeting, and this was after I had visited with my dad, and something was different. And I think that a lot of people, they're always looking to like acquire new stuff. They're looking to acquire a strategy or an opportunity or whatever. The truth is, you could have given me any opportunity at that point and I would have made it work. It didn't matter what it would have been, right? Nothing, there's anything that I could have done, because I was just in that mindset of, I'm going to get out of my situation. I'm going to make this damn thing happen. And so it happened to be a network marketing company. I go to the event, or I go to the home meeting at my buddy PJ's house, and I join, and I'm like, I'm going to make this damn thing work. I'm going to make it work. And so I went to work. I worked my face off. I told my girlfriend, now my wife, I told my girlfriend that, hey, listen, the next 2 years are going to be hell. I'm going to be working in a zone like you've never seen before. You've never seen me like this. And it's probably not going to be a lot of fun to be around. And what I wanted to prevent is, I didn't want to resent her. And because I had actually been engaged after the divorce, I'd been engaged to someone that, when I had to do the work, kind of made me feel bad for it. And I ended up like really resenting her. And I did not want to do that with Jessica, because I just loved her so much. And I just didn't want that to happen. And so I want to be very clear that I'm going to be a psychopath. I'm going to be working my face off until I get out of foreclosure, until I'm able to take you to dinner, until I'm able to like take my kids on vacation, which I haven't for years. And so like, I was going to make it happen no matter what. And so, and I stood behind that. A lot of people have that kind of talk, but they don't actually back it up. And I backed it up. And so I did the work. Started doing videos every single day. I've done 1 to 2 videos a day now for 9.5 years. I've never missed a day, every day, even on our honeymoon, when she was sleeping. So
She loved that one.
What's that?
I said, I'm sure she loved that.
Yeah. She's kind of used to it now. So, I mean, and just to clarify that doesn't mean that every day is high production, but I don't have no production. That doesn't exist. I don't have no production days. I may have low production. I don't have no production. No, it doesn't happen. And it doesn't matter if I'm traveling. It doesn't matter if I feel sick. It doesn't matter any of that crap. And so I started doing videos every day, started prospecting my face off. And, fast forward a few months, I think 5 months in, I hit 10,000 a month in that company, 7 months, 40,000, 10 months, 50,000, became the number one income earner in that company. And because both my wife and I, and she became the number one female earner actually, which was really neat. And so because we were doing a lot of stuff on social media 10, 11 years ago, before a lot of people knew what they were doing on there, we had a lot of people reach out to us and ask us, hey, can you coach us? Can you train us or whatever? And so pretty long story short here, we did launch a coaching and training business kind of alongside our network marketing business, of which became our full-time focus in 2016. And so in 2016, we actually retired from actively building a network marketing organization, and we just solely now focus on coaching and training. So we speak at a lot of company events, been able to share the stage with some amazing individuals. Largest audience, I think, was in Louisville. There's like 23,000 or 24,000 people there.
For your event?
Not my personal event. It was for another company.
Oh, you spoke.
And so what's that?
You spoke there?
Yes. Yeah. I was a speaker there. So several times, audiences of over 10,000. And so it's just been really cool. Now we have, our coaching masterminds. We have our private community called Rank Makers, where it's $20 a month. We have 14,000 people in there that we coach every single day and help them crush it in their network marketing company. And we have a lot of fun. And so it's been crazy. It's interesting because looking back, the biggest obstacles are where my biggest growth was. I needed foreclosure, man. I needed it so badly for me to correct my, shitty attitude, and for me to humble myself, and for me to just think better about money. because now, I mean, back then I was investing in so many stupid things. I wouldn't even do research. It's like, oh, it's an oil field in Alabama. Sure. Right. I was just like putting money in crazy places because I just thought money was just going to keep coming in like nuts, like it was. And so I'm very grateful for foreclosure. I'm very grateful for losing it all because it made me so much more appreciate money and how to think about money.
Yeah. And so like if someone's listening to this though, and I'm going to kind of just play off what you said, the first half of your story, Southwest Florida was ground zero for the real estate boom and the bust. I mean,
Yeah.
here, Vegas, maybe parts of Arizona, right? Miami or something, but like Southwest Florida was devastated during that time. It was brutal. And
yeah, I mean,
I had a mortgage business the whole way through too, just like, you went through it. And I remember having very similar moment. And actually it happened with me when an appraisal came in low. And I remember this appraisal coming in low, and I'm
that
like,
never happened.
I'm like, what the hell's this? But it
Who's
kind
this
of
new guy?
yeah, the same day, like a few days later, Bear Stearns, went down. Like then the whole steamroll of it, and it was a beat down, man. And being grateful for it. Who knows? It was so rough, but man, like I learned so much about my wife that, I feel it with your story as well, that, she was able to stay with me, basically take over all the bill paying and everything else because I had messed it up so bad.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you had said was, oh, I'll get it back. It's going to come back. I'll make it happen. That whole thing. And, where she's more of the reality check of like, hey dude, like you ain't getting it back right now. Like we're in a bad spot. So
Right.
I love that story, man.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you bounced back. I mean, like you said earlier, I mean, I there's a lot of people that I worked with, back in those days that, if I see them out and about, that's what they're still talking about. I mean, we just decided to go in a very different direction and build a different business. And so, I took the lessons and applied them, versus mourn them, And so.
Can we get into, you kind of like breezed over. I want to make sure people understand. If you don't want to talk about it, just tell me. But income or sales or something so they can gauge the volume that you guys are doing right now to put it in perspective.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I became a full-time entrepreneur, I guess, in 2005. In 2008, I'm in foreclosure. And 2013 was my first, like bouncing back, was my first $1 million year. 2014 was my first $1 million month. 2015 was my first $1 million weekend. And that was through like coaching sales and running events and selling high ticket masterminds and things like that. I mean, we've, since, I don't know the full calculations, but we've generated about 25 million since probably in the last maybe 10 years, something like that. We did get recognized a few years back on the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies.
I see it back there.
You see it. And so it's been great. And I think, I did things so, I don't know, haphazardly back in the real estate days. I couldn't actually tell you my numbers from real estate because it was just like, money's coming in, let me put some out. And I wasn't a good steward. And, someone who's not a good steward should lose their sheep. And that's what happened. And so just, and my wife has definitely helped with this too, of just being better stewards of your money. And so there's we have two very important accounts. One is a investment account, one's a giving account. And so a percentage, because we run an internet business, we have, money comes in every single day. And so a percentage of every dollar goes into an investment account and a percentage of every dollar goes into our giving account. And the giving account, we purposely look for, either charities or causes or cases. And, we're on the board for a couple, charities here in Southwest Florida. And, that's been a big thing for me, is I realized from attending different charity auctions and things like that, like, man, I want to be able to give money. I want to be able to do fundraisers and things like that. And I think just energetically, that is just really good, not out of guilt. We don't give, if any charity wants me to never give to them, just make me guilty, right? Like, you should give back. No, we do it because it makes us feel good. Mm-hmm. And so, like, just being better stewards of money, regardless of how much you're making. If you're not making a lot, you still should be a good steward. And so I would just say that's something that I owe those lessons to the real estate bust.
Gotcha. So if you don't mind, let's try to get into, so if someone's watching this, I want to, we're going to call this the millionaire mindset, because you are one, and went from broke as a joke to a millionaire. And you and your wife, we should say, give Jessica credit, right? We don't want to leave her out.
That's right. She's the brains and the beauty. I'm not sure I am. I guess I'm the muscle. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. Dude, your commercial, by the way, dude, of you stalking her and like,
yeah.
and the sham.
Sham, yeah.
Oh, man, I love it. I watch it every time. I don't mean to cost you money, because some of them are sponsored, but I watch it, man.
It's worth it. If it's making you happy, it's worth it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the sponsor. But so I would like to get into it. So if someone's out there watching this, and in my mind, there's people that, like, you're either, you have probably different levels, right? Or different parts of their life. Maybe there's one that's just destitute, lost, and doesn't know where to go, right? Then you have someone that's working a salary position. They're doing okay, but not really, making all the money they want. Or then you have like levels, right? Then you have the top producer almost. It's like still not where he wants to be, even though they're killing it. So maybe like an all-encompassing type of tips, or a few things that you think that people should concentrate on to get from where they're at to where they want to be, financially or, personally, or whatever it may be, health-wise, whatever.
Yeah. A few things. So I would say, everyone has two businesses, if you will. Even if you're an employee, you have, just kind of treating your job even as a business. You have that business, and then you have your money business. And you have to look at your money as a business. You have to put your money to work. You have to get more leverage out of your money. So, just whatever that looks like to you, how are you investing that money? Because most people, they're not going to be able to retire off their active income, off a, salary, or off even what they work at. So take me, for example. I do a lot of videos. Okay. I can't just stop making videos and my income stay the same, but I love what I do. And so I accept that I am doing a business that is tethered to my vocal cords, and that I have to show up. Although we have residual kind of income in place, I'm still showing up for that residual. And so I'm accepting that. I'm fully aware of it. I think a lot of people just aren't aware. They're not they don't think about how their money is coming in. But the part where it's really crucial is, what are you doing with your money to grow your money, so that, because that is the way that you could retire. So we went to one of our financial planners and said, okay, we want to really maximize how much money we're investing and saving, because we want to just knock this out in the next, back then it was 7 years, right? We said, we want, in 7 years, this is the kind of income that we want passively coming to us at this age. And this is the kind of lifestyle we want. What do we have to do? And it was a very aggressive plan. But that's because we treated our money like a business. And I think most people they just don't do that. They're just kind of like, I hope it works. And they don't calculate out what that will actually look like. I would say so that's on the money side. As far as the making money side, I would look at what are ways where you can gain some leverage. And so we do have coaching clients. There's no leverage in that. There's a tiny piece of leverage. The only leverage we get from actual coaching clients is their story. So we've had some people that we've helped go from, 200,000 a month to 500,000 a month. That's a story. We can leverage that story, but as far as how we help them, that's my time. There's no leverage in that. So you have, charge a lot or don't do it. But what can you get leverage from? Is it, this book? I mean, we sell thousands of copies of this book, and we got 3 or 4 other books that we sell too. We sell thousands. I wrote it one time. Actually, technically, I didn't write it, but I kind of interviewed it and someone wrote it. And so you do it one time, it sells thousands of times. What are things like that? Like a course? Like I think almost everyone that's in any kind of business or any kind of specialty skill should have a book or courses or things that they can sell ongoing, that if you sold 1 million of them, your time isn't impacted at all. And so do you have any kind of leverage in how you make money, or is it solely 100% depending on your time? If it's solely dependent on your time, which, we have things that are like that, then just be aware of that and seek for what are some things that aren't so tied to your time. One of the reasons we're fans, although we're no longer building a network marketing business, we're fans of that profession, because to us, it's the lowest risk, lowest overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business that can provide residual income. We have one client that has 700,000 people in his organization. They've been paying him $250,000, $300,000 a month for 14 years. He went 12 years without recruiting anyone.
Wow.
And so it's, now, is that likely? It's definitely not likely, because most people aren't going to work as hard as he did. I mean, he went into Korea and brought a translator with him, right? And so most people aren't going to do that level of work, but it is possible. It's possible. Whereas in my, job any job I've ever had, that's not even possible. And so I would just say, look at, what are you doing with your money? Are you maximizing how you can invest that so that you can, save for a rainy day or save for retirement or whatever? And number 2, are you really being honest about your income and looking at ways of making money that doesn't depend solely on your time?
Gotcha. What about the person's mindset? What would you have any advice for that?
Mindset wise, Hollywood and politicians and all kinds of stuff, they're always telling you, greedy rich people and all that stuff. And the funny thing is, every politician that has ever said those words, they're rich. They're worth millions of dollars. So don't be an idiot, right? Don't listen to those guys and women. And so we look at money as money equals impact. Money equals value. If I want to make more money, then I need to look at a problem in the marketplace and solve a problem. And so, for example, we rolled out this little thing right here. It's just on persuasive titles and headlines. It's a tiny little booklet, and we just launched this on Friday, a couple days ago. And so we launched this, and this is solely directed to help people get more viewers on their Facebook Lives, because their titles suck. No one's watching it. And so this will help them with it's got 90 compelling video headlines and formulas on how to stop the scroll so people actually watch your video. Well, that's a major problem in the marketplace. And so we opened this up. We just announced it to our group, and that sold like $20,000 this past weekend, just in these little, $10 books. And because it solves a major problem. And so if you want to make more money, look at what's a major problem in the marketplace. Is it weight loss? Is it, financial intelligence? Is it, what is it? And you look to solve that problem, you should make more money. But see, a lot of times people think that people that make a lot of money are greedy, evil, they're making it off the backs of others, or they're duping people. And if you think that, then you'll never become that which you despise. So you'll never be rich. If that's your goal to not be rich, then just think ill of rich people. And so money's just a magnifier. If you're a jerk, you'll be a bigger jerk. I was there for that, right? And I made more money, and I was a jerk, and I was a bigger jerk. But it can also be a magnifier for good. If you're someone that likes to help others, or you're someone that likes to make a difference and likes to make a positive impact, then with more capital, you can make a bigger difference. There's no question.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then what about, so like you have to see, I mean, I see it from my point of view, especially when I used to have a lot more loan officers that worked for me, and that's action. You know, I'm sure you deal with this a lot in coaching, to where it's like, I got big goals, big dreams, big everything, but you know, I just binge watched another series of Netflix for
Right.
14 hours straight, right? Like
Right.
on a Monday afternoon.
Right.
Don't get me
Right.
wrong, Stranger Things is awesome, and I'm excited about the new one coming out soon, but like it'll be getting watched over time at night, maybe.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, people need to realize that, you know, results are results. And so it's, you can't change your results. You know, I didn't like my bank account, but my bank account was a result of my habits. I didn't like my relationships, but they were a result of how I showed up. I didn't like the rank that I was, or the title, or whatever. And all of those things are results. I didn't like the weight that I was at. That's a result too. So you can't change your results. You can only change your habits, which then will change your results. And so it's, if you're not going to be, consistent, if you're not going to take action, I don't judge you. It's just, you probably shouldn't have big goals. I mean, it's just, it just is what it is. I think it's like, for me, it's the incongruence. Like someone that's incongruent is someone that, I want this, but I'm only willing to do this. And it's just like, instead, adjust one or the other. Like either say, you know what, I don't really care about making a lot of money, and I'm not going to do much, bada bing. I think you're going to be a happier person.
No doubt. Yeah.
Versus I'm up here and I'm going to work down here. Either raise this or lower this, or do something so that you're more congruent. Not everyone is cut out to be successful, and they certainly have the potential. I mean, anyone, I've seen very, very tough cases of people that have been through way worse stuff than I have, that went on to create success, but they did the work. It wasn't luck. And I think a lot of times you hear that people that became really successful were either really lucky, which you can't control, or they did it, ethically bad or whatever. They stole or whatever. And as long as you think that there's as long as you think that it's factors outside your control, or factors that are lower than your ethical standards, then you'll never become successful. You got to realize that every person that I know that's successful put in the work. And most of them, I don't want to say all, but most of them also went through really tough obstacles too.
Right. Well, there's so many different levels of success that, like being a millionaire, someone watching this may not really care at all about that. And
Sure.
To me personally, it's like, dude, as long as you're happy and content wherever you're at in your life, you're good to go. In my opinion, like, you're happy, you like where you're at, like, good, man. Be grateful about that, because a lot of people aren't.
Sure.
Out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, level of desire is personal preference. I don't judge people if they're not fired up and want to make it happen. I mean, whatever. I've created some, psychological stuff that if my company isn't growing, then that's people that I'm not impacting, and I'm not playing to my full potential. So I put a burden on the growth of our company, not because, a number makes increase some level of happiness, but to me, it means that we've impacted more people. And so I've just created a way of thinking that if we're not growing, then I'm not impacting who needs to be impacting. And that's my purpose. My purpose is to do that. And it's not because I'm some amazing martyr or something like that. It's because I selfishly feel good when I do. And so everything I do is selfish because it makes me feel good. I feel good making a difference. I feel good, showing up and delivering content that someone, uses and goes and changes their life with. I don't do it like begrudgingly or something like that. And so it's just whatever you're called to do, go do it.
Right. So how about a quick takeaway for anyone out there watching? Like, what's I'm gonna throw this out there to you. No prep time. Top 3 books for you, for someone that wants to go from here to here, and whatever they're at in their life. What's your top 3?
Yeah, I'd say I really like The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Not The Art of War, it's a little different. But The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I like The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I like Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand. I mean, that's probably my number one book that really helped me. It helped me feel normal because I'd had these thoughts, but I'd never heard them anywhere. And I'm reading it, and it's so much well written than I was thinking. But that'd be three that really impactful.
So curious, because I'm a huge Atlas Shrugged fan as well. The movies, what'd you think?
They made a mistake. So when Dagny is negotiating for the medal, she would not have asked for a discount, and so I don't like that. It was incongruent. So when she's talking to Hank, to Reardon, she's like, "Oh, and you're going to get me a discount, right?" And I'm like, "Why did they just do that? That's not how it works. If you want something faster, you pay more for it." And so I don't like that was incongruent. Obviously, Hollywood does not want that message to get out. And so I think they dealt with a lot of Hollywood behind the scenes baloney. Nothing compares to the book, like most cases. I'm glad that it exists. I do wish in the 70s that the guy that originally wanted to direct it would have. Do you know who that is?
Was it Coppola?
Coppola. Yeah, Coppola wanted to, but Ayn Rand, she said she had final say, and he's like, I can't do that. And so, like, I can only imagine if he would have done it, like how different maybe the world would have turned, you know? I mean, seriously.
Dude, yeah, no doubt, because that book's so powerful.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's parts of it that you may have to fight to get through. It's a big book, but
yeah,
overall, man, the message is just awesome. I read it just in a few days.
Me too. Yeah, like 3 days.
Did you read The Alchemist?
Oh, yeah. I love The Alchemist. It's great.
Yeah, that's a cool book.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ray, man, you got anything else to add, dude? That was fun, man.
No, man. I mean, my number one secret is just pick the right high school. I mean, that's if you mess that up, then, I don't know how to help you. If you went to Cape or something, I mean,
losers. Shout out to Coach Travis Smith over there. I'm sure he's
there you go.
Football season. Hopefully he's listening to this. Him and Larson and all those other yahoos over there.
Nice.
All right, Ray. Hey, man, if someone wants to connect with you out there on social and everywhere else, where can they find you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're biggest on Facebook and Instagram. Just search me there. We have a couple podcasts, but yeah, we get a lot of stuff out there. So if you want to check it out, go for it. Yeah,
Google Ray Higdon, and you won't have a problem finding content.
Ignore the bad stuff. There's always someone out there.
No, dude, you don't have anything bad out there, man. You're crushing it, dude. So, hey, Ray, man, I appreciate you being with me again. Thank you, man. I really do.
Man.
I know you're a busy dude, man. So that was hopefully people out there found some value and some inspiration from your story. I know I always do. So, again, thank you for being with us, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
No, I appreciate it. You guys out there, if you need help, any kind of mortgages, give me a call, 239-437-4278. Happy to help you. Connect on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, all that fun stuff. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe to the podcast. Hook your boy up. Give us a 5-star rating, right, Ray? Isn't that what you're supposed to say?
That's right. 5.
Go. So, Ray, again, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. And we'll talk soon, buddy. Thank you.
Got it, man. Thanks, bro.
See you, buddy.